everyone. I am back with another video showing you all how to file your LLC specifically for those living in the state of Georgia. Now, if you're not in the state of Georgia, I'm sure that this can work for your specific state. So I would just do a quick Google research and type in how to file an LLC and then insert your city or your state and go to their government website. Usually you'll know that it's their government website because it'll have .gov at the end of the URL. But essentially, it's just that easy in terms of figuring out whether or not you can file through the state. In the last video that I did mention how to file your LLC through LegalZoom, and I got a lot of comments about why not just file it through the state. You can save a lot of money, which is true, yes. But this is the same thing as asking, oh, why don't I just file my taxes myself rather than going to TurboTax? TurboTax is a convenience and they offer their services in return for payment. So that's very similar to what LegalZoom does. I'm going to show you how to go the route of doing it yourself. I just typed into Google how to file an LLC in Georgia. You're going to see first things first is LegalZoom, and again, they offer a service for a fee. It makes it a lot more convenient to file your LLC. However, if you wanted to save a few $100, here you'll come down and you'll see the government issued website. So let's go here. I just clicked the link directly from Google and it took me to a limited liability company and it gives you that definition. How do I register an LLC with Georgia Secretary of State? It'll list those steps out for you. You'll need a name, and a good way to find out whether or not a name is available in the state of Georgia is to use LegalZoom. It's very easy to do. You just go to LegalZoom.com. What you'll do is you will go to business, LLC, and what do you want to call your LLC? In my last video, I called mine Empathic Studios, and I will check the availability in the state of Georgia, and it'll tell me it's available. That's what we want to see. So that's the best way to check whether or not your LLC is available. Next, you want the name and address of the person filing for the LLC. Typically, this will be yourself. If you have a business office, I would highly recommend using that address. If you have a business address an email address for your business, that's important. Doesn't have to be set up right away. You can use your personal email, not that big of a deal. Mailing address of the principal office. Again, if you have a physical office, that's great. Or you can use a virtual office. And again, that's just going to Google, typing in virtual office, and then enter your city. So I'm going to go with Atlanta. And you can see a bunch of different virtual offices. I never click on the ads here, even though that's what they're paying for. I like to go to the first couple ones. I also like to look at the reviews to make sure you know what you're getting yourself into. But let's just say I wanted to go with Regis. I have had an office at Regis before in Tampa. It was great. Highly recommend it. And you can kind of check out their prices. I do recommend calling first to see what your options are. But they offer virtual offices. And what a virtual office is basically it allows you to use their address for your business and you can receive all of your mail and everything to that office. Next thing is to have a name and address of the registered agent. I get a lot of questions about registered agencies. This is the person that's going to be the point of contact for the IRS. This is the person that's going to be listed online for everyone to see as the point of contact for the business or the registered agent for the business. This could be yourself, or it could be a tax agent, or it can be again, you go to Google, you type in registered agent and insert your city. Name and address of each organizer. So this is for every member of your LLC, you will need a name and address. This doesn't necessarily have to be your home address. This can be the same virtual address or business office that you have, and each member under the LLC can use that office as their address. Any optional provisions you need to add to your articles of organization. Now, in my last video on how to file your LLC for LegalZoom, I talked about LegalZoom offering you articles of organization as one of their services. It's really important to have that if you have multiple members in your LLC, because it tells you, it tells the law, it tells the state how you guys are going to run your business and how you're going to dissolve the business should someone want to leave, or how you are going to offer shares of the business should it go public, or should someone else decide to enter or leave the business. And then finally, a form of payment. Again, the greatest advantage of filing your LLC this way is the fact that it is a lot cheaper than going the route of LegalZoom, for example. You save about $100 depending on what state you're in. In Florida, I was able to file for an LLC, a single member LLC, for about $200. So let's say that was the same as it was in Georgia, then I would be saving about $100 going this route. So the next step is to create and file registration. So we're doing it online. You can do it in mail or in person. You want to visit the state's online services page, and then next you want to create an account, and then select create or register a business. Okay, so now that we've clicked this link, this is what the page looks like. And we're then going to go to online services, click OK, not sure what that says. We're going to click on create a user account, and I'm going to go ahead and enter my information and get right back with you all. Okay, awesome. So I've created my account, and now I'm inside of here, and there is a lot going on here, but we're going to ignore everything but this button right here that says create or register a business. We're going to click on that. And I'm going to say I'm creating a new domestic business, and you just want to follow through the prompts. We're doing a domestic limited liability company. I made another video on the difference between a corporation, a partnership, and a LLC. So be sure to check that video out if you're unsure of which one to pick here. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to go ahead and click limited liability company. Do you have a business name reservation number? No, this is basically just saying that you've already filed for a name and they gave you a number for that name. And then you can insert one or two options if you're unsure of whether or not your company's name is going to be available. But again, you can go through LegalZoom to check on the availability of your name. I would put a few backups just in case LegalZoom isn't fully synced with the state of Georgia yet. Business purpose, so you want to find one that is as close to your business as possible. You may not get something that's exact. If you're unsure, again, Google is going to be your best friend in this process. I actually had to look up my NAICS code on Google the first time I ever did this, and then you want to get a subcode as well. But basically, let's say that I wanted to start a construction company, then all of these options would become available, and I can narrow down to exactly what kind of constructing I want to do. I'm going to be a roofing contractor for this video. Empathic Studios roofing contractors. Sounds a little weird, but anyway, then you want to go ahead and enter the address and everything for that. I'm going to enter a fictitious address and keep it moving so that you guys can see what the process is like. Oh, and one final thing that I forgot to mention is make sure that you are putting LLC here or whatever they have listed here. Okay, now we've gone to the review portion of this application, and we're going to go ahead and enter email addresses for the business, and then I'm going to enter in information for each member of the business. So again, these are your partners in the business, and if you have partners, I highly recommend that you have an articles of organization. If you're unsure of what that is, be sure to check out my video on LLCs, creating LLCs in LegalZoom. I went into detail on why it's so important to have an article of organization, and you can get templates online to use. Just make sure that it fits you and your business and your partner's goals so that you guys are all on the same page starting the business, so that there's no confusion in the event that you guys have any disagreements. Here you see registered agent information. Go ahead and Google what a registered agent is in your state and your city. And once you've done that, you can come here and add the individual or business. What this means is that basically you can have an individual or a business be your registered agent. You want to go ahead and insert all of that information. So I'm going to go ahead and fill out my registered agent information. I'm going to fill out my organizer information, which I'm going to check this box here and then add my authorized signature and have this document be effective as of this date. Or you can have it effective as of a later date if you wanted to, depending on who you are while you're filing this application. You could be the organizer, you could be the member, manager, or attorney in fact. Okay, now that I've inputted all that information, you come to the review portion of the application. I believe I got that wrong in the last step. It was actually the authorization portion that we were in. Now we are in the review portion, and this is where you just basically do a double take over all of the information that you've submitted, make sure everything looks good. You can change it in the future via a few documents that you can access through the government website. However, it is a process and you do have to pay for changes. So I would try to make sure that everything looks as right as possible from this step alone. Then you want to click submit. And this is where it takes you to your payment process, and you can choose whether or not you want it to be the regular process, which I think can take anywhere from 15 to 30 days. I would double check that for your state specifically. You can have same day, or you can have 2 business days, and the prices will change accordingly. So the expedition fee for same day is $250, so your total is $350. A lot of people get confused and they think that your filing fee will just jump to $250. That's not the case. They add an additional $250 to the $100 filing fee that is mandatory, and so it would bring your total to $350. If you wanted 2 days, your total would be $200 because they added an extra $100 to the expedition fee. Once you've inputted your information or you click to pay, it's going to ask you to submit your credit card information, and at this point you will have filed for your LLC in the state of Georgia. Congratulations, this is a huge step. Now you're able to go ahead and file your EIN number once you've received your letter from the state that your business has been created. It will give you a business number essentially. And once you've received that, you can go ahead and check out my video on how to file for an EIN number through the IRS.gov website for absolutely free. I really hope this video was helpful. It's been a minute since I've done this myself, so I learned a lot through this walkthrough as well. I'm really excited to potentially launch a Georgia corporation really soon, and I will keep you guys posted on how that goes. But until next time,